Hello, everyone, and welcome to this edition of the Foundation for Free Enterprise Education Speaker Series. My name is Scott Lee, and today I have the pleasure of introducing Mr. Steve Harley. Steve is the CEO, CFO, and head janitor for Total Laundry Services, headquartered in Destin, Florida. He's a PFEW grad and a 1997 graduate of Methacton High School in Montgomery County. He holds a finance degree with a minor in German from Grove City College on the western side of Pennsylvania. Steve began his career in the financial services industry as a commercial lender and later shifting to working with hedge funds. He always knew that he wanted to pursue a career in business, so he worked hard, saved his money, and when he tired of the corporate world finance in 2006, he took the plunge and started Total Laundry Services. What started out in 2006 as a business with one location and one employee, which was himself, has grown now into 7 locations across the Florida Panhandle with 40 employees. He's got a great story to tell us today, and not only about Total Laundry Services, but about what it takes to make your dreams become a reality. So let's all welcome Steve Harley. Steve, thanks for joining me today.
Hey, Scott. Thanks for having me. I'm super excited and very honored to be here. Thank you.
No, we're glad to have you. So let's start out talking about your business. First of all, tell us what Total Laundry Services does. Who do you serve? Who's your typical customer? Give us some details about your business.
Sure. We strive to be a one-stop shop for everything dry cleaning, comforter cleaning, anything related to laundry. So we live in Destin is a community where there's a lot of tourists, and we get bombarded in the summer all along the Panhandle from Pensacola all the way to Panama City Beach. So we want to, we have coin-operated washers and dryers. We offer wash, dry, fold service. We offer dry cleaning. We offer comforter cleaning. We offer pressing services. So we want to be that one-stop shop. Someone comes in, they can bring everything to us, and we make their lives easier.
Nice. Now, what you said comfort cleaning a couple times. I'm not familiar. What is comfort cleaning?
Sorry, it must be the speaker. Comforter cleaning.
Oh, comforter. Okay, roger that. So you do big stuff as well.
Yes. We have huge coin-operated machines, so we can fit 2-3 comforters in a machine at once.
Oh, nice. Okay, that's something that we really don't have too much up here in Erie, so that's good to know. So explain to me, why a laundry service? Did you see a need? How did you get into it? Was there an existing opportunity there, and why Florida? How did this all come together?
16 years later, I'm still unsure. I'm still wondering how I made it down here. No, it was a great journey to Destin. I originally moved to South Florida because I loved the weather, and I was in banking at the time. And I gave up everything, the cushy banking job, the health insurance, the paid vacation to start Total Laundry in Destin. And you're right, there was a huge need that wasn't being fulfilled. And I saw the growth that the Panhandle of Florida, I saw the growth that was happening here. And I said, if we can position ourselves correctly, we could really be a keystone, let's call it that, since Pennsylvania is the keystone state, a keystone type of business for the growth of the Panhandle.
That's great. So as you were first starting out, you had the idea planted in your head, but obviously you need a location, you need some capital. What exactly did you do, to first, start your first location? And then tell us a little bit about, what it was like to think about hiring your first employee, and how did that go? And how did you open your second, third, seventh location? I know that's a long question, but take us through the process from basically that idea in your head to how you became, how that first location became a reality, and then how you grew from there.
Gotcha. It was a slow process. So to get from 1 store to 2 stores, that was 5 years. 2 stores to 3 years was another 5 years. So in 10 years, it took, that's how long it took to be 3 stores. Now, just the past 18 months, we've added 3 more stores. So, we operate like a franchise, but we act like a mom and pop shop. We want to have that same branding, the same logo, the same procedures at every store. And once you have that process down, it's easier to add on as time goes by. Very difficult opening the first store with the amount of capital that you need, the risk that you take. And at that point, I knew I was 26, I think, 26 or 27. I knew, hey, if I opened up something and I fell flat on my face, I could always go back to banking. But a lot of it is, being at that point in my life, I could take that risk and know that, what, if I failed, I could always fall back on financing or on finance. But I wanted to, not taking that risk was going to bother me much more than taking it and failing. So yes, hiring the first few employees is very difficult to project how much money you're going to need for payroll. Learning, it's easy to learn about it sitting in a classroom, learning about receivables and payables. And until you're actually in the middle of things, until you're waiting on checks from customers, until you're in that situation where you see your bank account like, I need to make payroll tomorrow and I need some money in that bank account, it can get very stressful at times, let's put it that way. But slow and steady is how we have grown, and I think that's one of the secrets to success is to not taking huge risks, but growing piece by piece and one step at a time.
That's great. So let me ask you real quick. I know this, is probably a little bit off topic, but did you have a business plan, and did you have to go to the bank to borrow some money?
That's a good question. Yeah. At first, no. I was lucky enough to have, great parents that believed in me, that had some extra capital on the side. I was lucky enough to, I always had that entrepreneurial spirit. So I was lucky enough to buy and sell a lot of vacant pieces of land in Florida during the last real estate run up in that 2004 and 5 and 6 time period. So I was lucky enough to buy and sell 2 houses and to buy and sell about 25 pieces of land. That was the capital that I used to be able to start the first one. Now, yes, I've been in and out of banks for 15 years, financing the growth. And I actually bank with 3 different banks right now, and got good relationships with them because it's a give and take. And I use debt to finance the growth, not equity. So the nice thing is I haven't diluted myself. I'm 100% owner of the business. Yes, I've got debt on the balance sheet, but I haven't given up any equity to get where we're at today.
See, that's a great point for our listeners. It's okay to carry some debt, use other people's money to further your own goals and stuff. If you have the confidence that you're going to obviously, be able to pay it back, that leverage is something that is a fantastic tool. So thanks for sharing that.
That's true. I feel debt is like fire. It's very useful, but when it's uncontrolled, there's going to be major problems. So you're right. I definitely think that as long as as long as you use it in a useful manner and you're not over leveraged, then I'm thankful that I grew that way.
Love that analogy. That's great. Fantastic. So take us through what's a typical day look for you, not only look like for you, but not only as an owner, but as a manager. What's your typical day?
Sure. So let's put it this way. The past year has been crazy because of the expansion in other stores. So I'm up at 3 a.m. I'm out of bed and I'm at work by 3:15. I live less than 2 miles away. So I'm going nonstop from 3:15, 3:30 till 7 o'clock at night. And it's crazy, but the nice thing is, and I always tell people this, you can tell when you enjoy your business, when you enjoy your job. In 16 years, I've never woken up and said, oh, is it Friday yet? Oh, do I have to go to work? And that's a joy to be able to say that I get to go up and it's a challenge every day to wake up and say, okay, what do we have to do today? Let's go, let's knock this off the list and keep moving. So it's been nice. Typically, I'm working 70 to 80 hours a week. Yep. And that's not it's out of necessity at some points, but it's also out of me wanting to be here and wanting to be part of making sure that employees are trained correctly, making sure that things are running smoothly, making sure that customers are happy. And it's not a job. Those 80 hours go by like that, because when you enjoy what you're doing and it's fun and it's challenging, then the days and the years have flown by.
Wow. I think that's another important piece of the puzzle. I think a lot of young people today, and I'm not, slamming on young people, but I think they think that, business owners have an easy path or that everything becomes easy. What you've just said is that it requires hard work, and it also helps to enjoy what you do because that makes the hard work, worth it. I mean, 80 hours a week is basically working two jobs.
Yes.
Full time, two jobs. It's crazy.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. And
So, yeah, go ahead.
I say that you have to be cut from a certain cloth to be able to do that. And I feel 95% of the public, they are employees. They have an employee mindset. There's nothing wrong with that. They want to clock in, they want to clock out. They want to be able to have that no stress when they're at home watching TV or relaxing or going on that vacation. But when you have that entrepreneurial mindset, my phone it could be ringing at any hour of the night. And you have to be ready for that. And you have to let almost like water off a duck's back. You're going to have challenges, you're going to have problems, you're going to have issues, but you cannot take it to heart. You cannot take it personally. You have to just solve problems. That's all I do is solve problems every day.
Yeah, that's great. So let's turn the conversation a little bit to your employees. What education and skills do you look for in employees, and how does an employee succeed at Total Laundries?
That's an interesting question. People have that mindset of, oh, why would you want to work at a laundromat? Is it dimly lit? You have a lot of weird, sketchy people there, and we try to change that.
Sign me up.
Yeah. We want to be the high-end laundromat, and we want to be. It's funny. I'm not going to mention names, but we have many celebrity clients, NFL players. Every day walking in, I can't believe I just saw blank at your store. So related to employees, there's three things that we look at for employees: hard work, honesty, and reliability. If you have those three traits, you're going to succeed here. I look at resumes. I probably look at 100 resumes every week. And the first thing I look at is longevity in position. I see these people, especially the younger generation, every 3 months they're changing jobs. And if I see a resume that you've changed jobs every 3 months for the past year and a half, I won't even interview someone, because it's really heartbreaking that they don't realize that employee turnover costs a ton of money. So when we hire, with that old adage, hire slow and fire fast. That's what we put all the work on the front end in hiring to make sure that we get people that want to be here, that are excited about the growth, that are excited about the opportunity. And, they're not just standing there folding clothes and handing out change and wiping down machines. My employees they're smart. Most of them speak multiple languages, hardworking, dependable. And I wouldn't be where I'm at today without these amazing employees. I love them like family.
That is absolute gold, what you just said there. So I hope listeners right now will actually run this section back and listen to that again. Awesome advice. So thank you for that, Steve. So real briefly, what's next? What's next for your business? Where are you going?
I better not say anything too loud. The employees may go on strike if I say I'm going to So there's always growth opportunities. And we, again, will be slow and methodical about it, but we'd like to build something from the ground up. I've been lucky enough to buy the real estate at every location that I own. So not only do I have control of the business, I have control of where I'm operating at. So by my 50th birthday, I've told every employee I'm giving them the opportunity to buy a location. So if you've worked for me, the requirement is 5 years. If you've been with me for 5 years, and we have multiple employees that have been here 5, 6, 7, 8 years, they have the opportunity to buy a store and to become an owner themselves. Since I know and I trust them that they've been here with me for 5 years, I know that they'll be able to run it perfectly. That's where I want to give them the opportunity as well to become entrepreneurs and to sort of carry on the dream.
That's fantastic. Now, will they carry also the name with it, or they take over, and so you're going to maintain the name and all that?
Yes, so they're going to be able to use the name under like a licensing agreement. I'm not going to charge them outrageous fees like some franchise setups, because if they do well, then I do well. and vice versa. So that's something that I have, that's my goal. So I'm 43 right now. By 50, I want to make sure that I'm maybe back down to one store, but having a lot of employees that I've, people that have been in my life for this long, give them the opportunity to own the store.
Well, as someone who's rocketing towards 61, that's like uber depressing, but that's okay. I am so happy for you. I'm glad you're on the path. That is fantastic to see.
Thanks.
So when we spoke initially, you talked about some things that you credit for making you successful. I want to kind of shift gears away from the business a little bit and talk about a little bit about the ethos, your work ethic. You told me that hard work levels the playing field. Tell our listeners what exactly you mean by that.
It's such a great quote, and I love that you brought that up. 3 people: my parents, my Little League baseball coach, Mr. DiDonato, and my college soccer coach, Dr. Don Lyle. Those 3 people instilled that work ethic in me, and I'm so thankful for that every day. You don't have to be smart to be a hard worker. You don't have to have a ton of money in your bank account to be a hard worker. You don't have to have political connections to be a hard worker, but hard work is one of the most important things, that industrious attitude. The saying that, I always know that I'm not the smartest man when I'm in any room. And, that mentality will always strive. You always will know that other people will have other advantages over you. There's always going to be someone else with more capital, with more money. There's always going to be someone else that's smarter than you. There's always going to be someone else that has maybe political connections. Maybe their brother's the mayor. Maybe their best friend is the congressman. But hard work levels all that playing field because it scares people. And that's the thing I brought up when I spoke with you. My competitors, they're deathly afraid of us because they know I will outwork them. They see me here. They see my car parked out front 7 days a week. And they're afraid that, oh my gosh, this guy will not stop. And I won't stop until I'm either dead or things are 100% successful here at Total.
Well, let's hope it's the latter, not the
Yes,
former,
True.
Oh,
That's true.
woo.
That's true.
So one of your favorite quotes is, "I don't know the secret to success, but I know the secret to failure, trying to be everything to everyone all the time." That's a fantastic quote. Elaborate on why that means so much to you and how you apply that in your daily life.
My quote, the quote is so important because I have to stick to that in my daily life. I didn't stick to it back in the early days, and I personally was almost bankrupt because I didn't stick to it. Entrepreneurs, and my advice to aspiring entrepreneurs is, you have to find your niche and you stay in your lane and you exploit that niche as best you can. You become an expert in that. If you want to dabble in other things, do it as a hobby. Do it, maybe limited or part-time. But when it comes to business, when your reputation and money and hard work is on the line, you stay with what you're good at and you exploit that as much as you can.
I like that.
Yeah, and that's the only, I was going to say, I was going over my notes. That's the only thing I would, it's one of the major things I would tell future entrepreneurs is that that's one of the major things that you have to stick with what you're good at. I'll give you a perfect personal example. I was doing very well as a laundromat owner. I was doing very well, getting into other businesses related to laundry. And I thought, I bought houses. I bought some houses thinking I could be a property manager as well. I dabbled into a few other things that got me off my focus of what I'm good at day to day. And, with how real estate goes up and down. And I bought at the worst part in 2007, 2008. And those houses were worth half of what I paid for them 3 years later. So stick with what you're good at.
Great advice, actually. Really great advice. So you told me an interesting thing about one of your main secrets to success, Steve, and that is you studying failures versus watching success stories. I think a lot of people watch those success stories, and quite honestly, they're plastered all over YouTube and television and all these kinds of things. Everybody loves success stories, but you don't look at that. You look at the failures. Tell us why, and tell us how that's gotten you to where you're at.
Again, personally, I was lucky enough to be able to experience I worked for a great person when I was in high school and in college, and it was a local business. He had a great local business, but it ultimately failed. I think the stat is 4 out of 5 businesses fail within the first 5 years. And then the one that does survive, 4 out of those 5 fail within the following 5 years. So when I got to see some of the mistakes that he was making, us as employees would talk amongst ourselves saying, hey, we shouldn't be doing this. He should maybe take a different strategy. And seeing the mistakes that happened really led me not to make the same mistakes. I don't say that I make mistakes personally. I say I've got a lot of life lessons learned over the time, because normally if you make a mistake and it costs you money, you're not going to do it again. But if you can see someone else making that mistake, then you're a move ahead of people. It's easy to look at successes, but ask some of the best entrepreneurs in the world. If I had their ear for 5 minutes, the questions I would be asking: hey, I know you succeeded at this, and this, but what did you fail at? And how did you change course because of that failure? Because I think that saves a lot more time and energy learning from mistakes versus watching and admiring successes.
That's, again, great advice, Steve. I mean, this whole session has packed 10 pounds of knowledge into a 5-pound bag. And I can't thank you enough for joining us today. Your insights, it's pretty remarkable. And I think it will help our viewers a lot, not only from the, business startup standpoint, but also from, like I said, that ethos or that approach to, how you focus your energies and your attentions. One of my sayings that I love is, you focus on the problem increases. You focus on the solution increases. It seems simple, but it's very difficult to put in practice. And it sounds like you've made your life and you've built your life around putting that in practice. Again, Steve, this has been a wonderful conversation. Thank you so much for taking time out of your busy schedule to join us today. Do you have any closing comments you'd like to make?
It's so funny that you said that, because when my employees come to me with problems, I said, guys, don't give me the problem, give me the solution. And how are we going to get there? And I feel that all the aspiring entrepreneurs, you have to realize all you're doing is solving problems all day long. That's it. You're just solving problems and making money doing it. So, Scott, I appreciate it. Thank you so much. I'm proud to be a PFEW alumnus, and I appreciate you taking time to talk to me today.
Steve, we're proud to have you. You're one of the great success stories of PFEW. Really appreciate everything you've given us today. Ladies and gentlemen, if you'd like to connect with Steve, our contact information and his contact information will appear at the end of this video. Once again, thank you for watching. Steve, great job today. Good luck with the expansion. Good luck with the eventual selling off. You got 7 years. The clock is ticking. Let's make it happen.
Awesome. Appreciate it, Scott. Thanks so much.
All right. Thank you, Steve.